Live right here on this Thursday on the early line. The NBA draft, the start of the offseason, but the summer already underway in the association. Some big signings and extensions that we have seen in the last 24 hours. So I was critical, and I think you were as well, of the Knicks draft last night, moving things around to only make one selection, and it to be Pacome Dadier at 25th overall. But prior to that, it was only exciting things inside Madison Square Garden. The trade for Mikal Bridges the night prior, and, of course, yesterday, the re-signing of OG Anunoby. 5-year deal, $212.5 million, JY. In terms of the structure, in bringing Anunoby back, were you surprised the Knicks were able to ink this deal so quickly?
No, because Anunoby's agent is Leon Rose's son. Okay. So I'm sure they had this thing lined up already.
No tampering, though.
No tampering. That's more Josh Hart with the whole
wait.
Well, that's a sort of But when you talk about it, folks, when you line this Knicks team up, it's very simply put. They looked at Boston and said, okay, and you have to be careful when you do this. If we're going to go to the NBA Finals, we got to go through Boston. What do we need? We need elite wing defenders. And you could argue that OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges, for their size, are two of the very best in the NBA. They could guard multiple positions. I've seen Bridges guard anywhere 1 through 4. I've seen OG guard anything 1 through 5. So it makes sense. The Knicks did not want to play around with this. They wrapped it up right away. Now, OG could have waited and probably got another, I would say, $30 million more over the life of the contract, but he decided this is where he wanted to go. It was still around the same money he would have got. He would have only gotten 4 years, and I think about $42 million if he got to the open market. So he still got around the same annual value, just another year. Win for OG, win for the Knicks.
And again, coming from yesterday, we're trying to say, like, is there going to be an odd man out on the Knicks? It's good to see the Knicks pushing their chips into the middle of the table and say, now is the time. And also, from a betting market perspective, Coach, the Boston Celtics here in the Eastern Conference, that's a plus 135 price to win it. Obviously, we can agree they're the best team overall. But number 2 now, that's the New York Knicks at a plus 350 price, followed by the Milwaukee Bucks plus 550 and the Sixers at a plus 750 here. Talk to us about that Eastern Conference odds and the legitimacy now of the New York Knicks maybe to make a run into the NBA Finals.
Well, it's still not done, Donnie. I mean, part of the reason why the Knicks did what they did in the draft is they tried to shave $3 million because they're trying to find some kind of pathway to get Isaiah Hartenstein back, maximum of a 4-year, $72 million deal. But right now, they can't even offer him that because they need to shed a little bit of salary.
Yeah.
So that still make the trades get out of the first round completely. Kind of like what they did with Oklahoma City getting the 5 future second-round picks. But when you look at the East, yes, the Knicks are there. They are the second-best team. It is the culture. It's the Villanova way. It's the Tibbs way. Yeah. It makes sense that they're second. But I still need to see what happens with Hartenstein. Is it Mitchell Robinson gets moved? There's still the ultimate wild card that the Knicks fans don't want to bring up is, when are we moving Julius Randle?
Right.
And I think that is going to be something that's going to come up all the way through because I do think the best lineup the New York Knicks could have, if they're keeping everyone but Julius Randle, is OG at the 4, Bridges at the 3, Brunson at the 1. You can bring DiVincenzo off the bench to get a better 2 guard, and then your center. So I still think there's another move. And really quick, listen, we know that Milwaukee's trying to make moves. There's rumors that they're trying to get Andrew Wiggins for Bobby Portis and some parts. They got to get younger. They got to get better defensively. Philadelphia, we'll see what they do. Is it going to be Paul George? Do they trade for Brandon Ingram? They got to get a better forward or a number 3 scorer. And then Miami's lying in the weeds. Like, what are they doing? Jimmy doesn't want to sign the extension.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? Knicks right now, second best team on paper, but it can change in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So let me ask you that question because there are still questions to be answered for this New York Knicks organization, namely Julius Randle and Isaiah Hartenstein. There are also things to be figured out the rest of this summer and offseason for those 2 teams directly behind them. The Bucks entered last year a co-favorite to win the NBA championship with the Boston Celtics. It was a tumultuous season inside the Pfizer Forum. We expect Philadelphia to go out and address who would be that number 3 option outside of Tyrese Maxey and, of course, Joel Embiid. So I expect those Eastern Conference odds to shift drastically by the time we open up in October the 2024-25 NBA season. But as of this moment, Boston Celtics are still clearly ahead of everybody, but only just over $2 now separates the C's and the Knicks. As of this moment, with the acquisition of Mikal Bridges, with the re-signing of OG Anunoby, and still the questions left to answer, are the Knicks Boston's best test in the Eastern Conference?
Yes, because they can line up two top defenders in Bridges and Anunoby, and you can match up with Brown and Tatum. And I think that is the important thing. If you kind of find a way to get Hartenstein back or Mitchell Robinson, you have a big that can go and they can bother Porzingis inside and get rebounds. You have a fantastic closer in Brunson who kind of got the better of Drew Holiday at times last year. But to me, yes, they are the biggest challenge because of their defense. And if they could keep everyone, they actually could be one of the deepest teams in the NBA, even though Tom Thibodeau still plays the starters 45 minutes a night.
Let's take a look at another extension that happened yesterday. Bam Adebayo got a big deal from Miami, and certainly I don't think anybody was out there saying, like, boy, that was a surprise, a well-deserving contract. But one of those teams that we always expect to compete in the East, Coach, they now sit at a 17-1 price. Are we expecting moves on the horizon for the Miami Heat? Because they typically movers and shakers.
Yes, and they're the team that kind of walks in silence, right? But here's the thing, and we talked about it last night, Ben, Kevin, and I. The Ware pickup is like, yep, here we go. Guy that questionable motor,
right.
questionable work ethic, goes into the Heat culture. They may bring Udonis Haslem out of retirement for about a couple, just for training camp, just to kick the snot out of this kid and get him to play. But if they can hit on Ware, right, and then obviously you can move Bam to the 4. Jimmy, he's going to have to play some games in a regular season if he wants to start to get the money that he wants to get. So this is kind of like a carrot out there, and you can't ever deny the greatness of an Eric Spoelstra. They're lying in the weeds, and they're going to be making a run. I think Orlando could take a step back. I think they were upset as that they couldn't get Dalton connected in the draft because they shoot the ball terribly from 3. And then here's the crazy thing. The team that made the Eastern Conference Finals, we're not even talking about them. A team in Indiana that could be, disrespected at 25-1 to come out of the East. If they are healthy and they find a way to, clean up their defense, there's one thing for sure. No team can get up and down the floor with them.
I think it's really interesting, though, to your point about the New York Knicks, to what Milwaukee is going to undertake this offseason. Everybody in the East, you still have to get past Boston, and a lot can change, but you got to surpass the Celtics as of this moment. It's an interesting offseason for Miami. The pick of Khalil Ware at 15th overall, have to love that. Jaime Jaquez, an all-first-team NBA rookie last year. But they are going to keep Bam Adebayo in-house through 2029. We'll see about Jimmy Butler's future in South Florida. Nick Claxton also signing an extension yesterday with the Brooklyn Nets, a 4-year deal worth $100 million. The Nets have made plenty of moves in the last 48 hours as well, but they've been trading some things away. They've been getting back some draft assets, maybe keeping an eye on the future. This upcoming season, there are 7 teams, 7 in the NBA, all tied for the longest price to win an NBA championship next year, including Brooklyn at 1,000-1. What are the Nets going to look like this upcoming year, and are they already keeping an eye on this time next year in the 2025 NBA draft?
Tank for Cooper. Simply put, take Cam Johnson, take him to somewhere like Cleveland who can use a stretch forward and can shoot the ball. Get rid of him. Dennis Schroeder, get rid of him. Ben Simmons, you play 10 minutes of the game, you're gone too. Just trade everyone away. Let Cam Thomas score 40 points a game on 95 shots. It's okay. And tank. Embrace the tank, because I'm telling you this, that next year's draft, with Cooper Flagg, with Ace Bailey, with Dylan Harper, it ain't the 2024 draft. There is star power
coming. Might have
coming.
to be on that